9 signs showing you are a spiritual person. Spiritual people look very similar to the common people and hence difficult to be identified. They are usually not dressed in white, blue or ochre dress. They don't necessarily keep beard or shave their heads. They don't live in forest, caves or in Himalayas. They live around you but you fail to identify them. You are often deceived by the appearance and get trapped by the cheats who claim to be spiritual people. However, it is not very difficult to identify the truly spiritual people. You can easily identify spiritual people by identifying these 9 characteristics in their personalities. 1. Synergy between words and action. The actions of a spiritual person are always in harmony with his words. He speaks only what he truly believes. Most people preach equality, yet they treat themselves as superior to others. While they may ask people to lead a simple life, they themselves live in palatial houses and wear expensive clothes and ornaments. A spiritual person does not say anything which is impractical. He demonstrates the practicability of his principles by following the words spoken by him. 2. Self-realization. One has to make a distinction between a scholar and a spiritual person. Any person with good memory can remember each word of a scripture and prove anything by the strength of logic. A scholar always supports his arguments with some reference to other studies or scriptures. However, a spiritual person is a self-realized one whose knowledge has emerged from within. Thus he, instead of having knowledge, has become knowledge as his persona has become one with God. Thus his explanations emerge directly from his soul and convince people rather than asking people to get convinced because someone has said so, or something is written in a scripture or some study has proven something. 3. Peace. A spiritual person is one whose soul has become one with God. Thus he knows the world from a much wider perspective. His mind is at peace like the water in the depth of a sea. He knows that everything that happens in the world has some logic in it. He can know the cause and effect through his intuition. Hence he is always at peace and does not feel disturbed by the mundane things of the world, which are like waves on the surface of an ocean. 4. Indifference to physical appearance. Spirituality is complementary to materialism just like spirit is complementary to body. One who focuses on body alone cannot focus on spirit. So a spiritual person is indifferent to the physical appearance of himself and others. He does not identify a person from his exterior appearance but identifies him from his soul. Hence, if a person wears designer clothes and focuses on being physically attractive, he has least chances of being spiritual. It is no surprise that most spiritual people keep beard which actually covers the physical attractiveness of the body. 5. Unconditionally loving. Love is the most important characteristic of a spiritual person. He does not hate anyone including the criminals and terrorists. It may sound weird and impossible to an ordinary man but not to the spiritual person. Just as we all like everything about ourselves including our not-so-perfect body, in the same way, for a spiritual person there is no feeling of other. So he can identify even with his enemies. 6. Equality and justice. God has created everyone equal even though he has given everyone a different role. However, man puts material value on human beings on the basis of demand and supply. For example, the president of a nation is far more valued than the ordinary sweeper because there is only one president and a large number of aspirants. However, it cannot be denied that both are essential for the nation. A spiritual person, on the other hand, never distinguishes people on the basis of their religion, caste, economic status or position in the society, as he is able to see everyone with equal vision. 7. Devoid of passion. A spiritual person is never in a hurry, as he does not have lust or passion for anything. A man of passion always has to do something. Thus he feels restless all the time. However, a spiritual person knows his role in the scheme of things and does what is in the best interest of the world. He is a yogi, who has complete control over his body, senses and mind. In the words of Lord Krishna, who sees inaction in action and action in inaction, he is enlightened among men. He is a yogi, he has done all he needs to. 8. Humility. A spiritual person is always humble, as he sees God in every being and considers every being as the extension of his own self. He knows that he is merely a tool in the hands of God and that he has been sent in this world to perform a particular function. There can never be an element of pride in him. The need for humility was demonstrated by Jesus himself when he washed the feet of his disciple. 9. Compassion and forgiveness. A spiritual man is the most forgiving, as he knows that everyone will be judged as per his deeds by God. He never puts himself in the place of God and never judges a person by his own standards. Thus, even if someone has wronged him or wronged other persons, he always seeks forgiveness from God for him. Thus, instead of hating a person whose action is not in conformity with his desire or with the scripture, he shows compassion for all. Jesus demonstrated the act of forgiveness when, despite being crucified by the Jews, he sought forgiveness from God for them. He prayed, "Forgive them, Father. They don't realize what they're doing." Why do you need to identify a spiritual person? It is wisely said that a man is known by the company he keeps. If you live in the company of materialistic men, you become materialistic, and if you live with spiritual people, you tend to be spiritual. In order to live a balanced and fulfilled life, we must learn to become spiritual, because man is a spiritual being. Jesus in his first teaching said, "Man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Man suffers pain when he ignores the need of spiritual awakening in him and tries to live on bread alone like any other animal. Everyone can listen to the words of God if he awakens his spiritual self. Thus, a less spiritual person must identify and learn the words of God from the people who have evolved higher in their spiritual journey. The 9 identifications discussed above can help a person in identifying the truly spiritual person and undertake the journey that is towards God or Spirit. Development of these 9 characteristics in self can make a person spiritual and selfless.